Shockwave. Yeah, double play-by-play. Hey, we've got the brains, the brawn.
The Fate Wave.
The Fate Wave.
There it is.
I'm going to do Fate's Shockwave. I think I'm happy with that for now.
Fair enough.
Okay
well, we'll play it by ear. We'll play it by ear. We'll see what comes out. Here we go. We're jumping on into Summoner's Rift for game number 1 of the days. V5 on the blue side up against LNG on the red side. The Mad Scientists going relatively standard. The Pantheon jungle, not quite where you'd expect him to be, but we have seen it before. On the other side of things, though, we have a Nico support. The Orianna went mid in the end.
This is why we can't switch cameras at 22, 21 seconds. So Nico in the bottom lane does make a bit more sense, but essentially it is the same combination here. When you get that Oathsworn duo, I'm going to talk about the Omnistone in a sec. Hang on. When you get, and they didn't even change it over, that's how late minute it was. Last minute, excuse me. Mole is actually the one with Omnistone, not CLX. Point being, you throw the Nico in, you still get that combination with the Fate's Call. So there is a lot of the quote-unquote wombo combo coming through from V5. It's going to be interesting to see how they actually play through Y4 and Callista.
The Fates blossom in the bottom lane. Let's see when they hit the level 6. But it is still the Orianna. Oh, that's what they think.
She's got Dark Harvest first. Yeah, let's get that early stack, eh?
But let's talk about where we're going to be starting for our junglers here. XX towards the top side, starting with his red Flandre. Going to be giving him a leash, so V5 will know what's going on. Yep. On the other side of things, though, AS6 starting solo.
Okay, but both on the top side of the map still means that the path goes towards the bottom lane. One of the most fickle lanes here. Mole still with the Dark Harvest. Now, for Omnistone, we haven't seen it too much. Loom out on Fiddlesticks, brought it in the scrims. But apart from that, in solo queue, you'll notice in the past couple of patches, Twisted Fate has really been the only champion to pick up this rune, but people are experimenting with it a bit more, and if you get the lucky rolls early on, you can really benefit from good trades.
I want to say someone played it on Corki in the LEC, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Well,
I feel like it was seen, though.
I did have a computer, but it's not with me, so, you know, I can't get that benefit here. But Omnistone, look, it has been made to be more intuitive for the champion playing. Like, obviously, you can't get Aftershock if you don't have CC, and so on and so forth.
Let's take a second and actually explain what Omnistone is. For anyone at home that hasn't actually seen this rune in play, obviously, it's not meta. What Omnistone does as a keystone is it cycles through the other keystones in the game, essentially. Right now, he's got Dark Harvest. He's going to get pulled on in, but Mole will be fine. But you can see to the right of his health bar has that Dark Harvest available, and he'll grab a stack for himself.
That's worth, and now resets the keystone, and we go again. But that's a massive trade onto Light from Y4 and Mole. After a Dredge Line goes into the clone.
You can see now he's got Comet next, so it'll just continue to cycle as and when you use the effects. But AS6 wants to find a fight for himself, but he's found a Pantheon instead. XX going to completely deny the engage from V5.
Flash and Ignite burnt from Mole. Light has no summoners as well. AS6 is trying to shadow this Pantheon and make sure that a full 2-on-2/3v2 doesn't erupt.
XX is sticking around though, and Mole is going to face check that one. Flashes forward, but Mole's been hooked in by the Nautilus, and he'll go down. First blood to the Spartan.
Clone can't save him this time. Mole sends it outward, but a nice Dredge Line to secure the first kill for LNG. And it goes over to the jungle Pantheon. Many times in the LPL, we talk about, okay, if the Pantheon can't get off the ground in the first 15 or so minutes, what's he going to do? We shouldn't have that discussion this game because XX with early gold advantage.
Really, really nice start here for the likes of LNG. It's bad news for V5 because typically when you look at their match history, they struggle when they start to fall behind. I mean, when you look at their match history, they struggle when they get ahead as well, but realistically...
I love you trying to talk positive about V5.
I'm trying to find the nice things to say, but they have had a few games where when they got ahead, they looked pretty good to start with. They just make some macro misplays. This game, though, falling behind, what we've seen from them is they start to scramble, they start to lose coordination.
Well, I guess the biggest part is the fact that they don't have someone in one position. The narrative that we set up with this team constantly is, okay, they change lanes. Not like FPX, where, you know, everyone goes bot. No, they actually physically change lanes. CLX is playing mid this game because he's a mid laner. He wasn't built as a support. It's because of all the epidemic and the issues with players that he had to transition to that role. Mole is playing support because Mole plays all positions.
And important to mention, Mole is the one that ended up getting caught out to start things off. He's also going to be running Omnistone. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know how super serious Mole is taking this role with the Nico bot with Omnistone. Suddenly it's like,
But everything works on Nico when you think about it. Like, name an ability that doesn't work, a rune rather, that doesn't really work. When you think about it, a lethal tempo still procs W. No, but Omnistone gives you a variety of...
I'm with you.
And that's the whole concept that people have been using with Twisted Fate, is there's nothing that doesn't really fail with the rune.
Nice little root coming out from Mole there. Good damage onto Light. It's going to be answered by Duan, but ultimately the Rend means... big damage. Light's in trouble a little bit in this bottom lane.
Glacial Augment for Mole.
There's another root, and it's going to be a kill. 2v2. I take back all of my criticism, but now we've got a teleport coming in from Flandre. He wants to capitalize. Y4 knows he's doomed, but Flandre wants the one-on-one. He's not letting Duan take any of the action here, and XX gets the dragon.
And first kill here for Flandre as well. Ultimate used, just straight to the bottom lane to capitalize. So really good start from V5. An aggressive lane used well. But LNG getting the trade back once again means they can push into this enemy jungle bot side. They've already started abusing it, and XX already has a giant lead in the jungle.
So I want to revisit the conversation of Omnistone just slightly, because I want to put one counter-argument to the every rune can work, right? The problem with that argument is, yes, every rune theoretically can work, and I can say the same if I'm playing like Nautilus. I can still proc my Comet. Does it mean it's good? No. Does it mean it's optimal? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. But it's a hell of a lot of fun, and the majority are still okay. Doesn't really support mine, does it?
I'm not going to lie, I don't feel like that. It's too strong of a fight.
Look, I will say, though, like, even in that engage, going from lethal tempo to suddenly having Glacial Augment available makes it a really dangerous trade.
The thing is, it's like, in the right situation, with the right RNG, it can be godly, right? It could be the perfect rune. It's just, do you want to rely on RNG?
But can I ask you, what is this region about? Playing
RNG because they're a great team?
Yeah, no, but playing the risk. Right, that's what it's all about. Munchballs, I want to bring your attention to something in the replay we saw before. LNG did pick up the first dragon. XX actually went for the 1 versus 1 onto AS6, forced him out of the pit, and XX stole away the dragon. So an even further lead given over to the jungle of LNG.
Yeah, and you mentioned the first dragon take. When you talk about dragons being taken in the early game, you equally have to talk about the Herald. It's going to be spawning in a couple of seconds' time. Neither bot lane here from either team is going to be rotating up towards the top side. Neither of the supports going to be recalling just yet to try and force that objective. So you can see clear focus from both teams. You can see both the junglers here. They're posturing around the bottom side of the
They both started on the top side, so for XX, he has really good timing on AS6's red buff here. A level advantage as well, with more damage over the Lee Sin. So, of course, he's invading.
I love how they've both been staring at each other for 30 seconds there. Nobody from any of the lanes rotates over. And the XX basically just muscles him out by staring him down.
And even if V5 wanted to move over, they're getting shoved in both mid and the bottom lane. Red buff will be taken away by XX, a further advantage. AS6 alphaed off and just says, okay, I'll take Krugs.
That is the most Pantheon move I've ever seen. Winning a fight purely by looking at someone. He's going to walk away. CLX not happy to take that trade with him. And now XX just going to help shove this mid lane in.
And just walk up towards that Rift Herald we were talking about before. Top lane shove here as well. And remember, there is a CS discrepancy up there, but Flandre got the kill on the bottom lane, so gold about even. And pressure all across the map here for LNG, netting them some early objectives.
We talked about the rotation from the bottom lane. Light and Duan moving into the mid lane there. Light's going to be there to clear the wave as Mayport comes to help with the Herald. Duan just going to be hanging around, making sure his AD carries okay.
And I know we talked about the mid 2v2 duo of LNG and more about team fighting and what they achieve when they get towards these late game stages. But with the change in draft, this already is set up for a really nice 2v2. Rumble has ultimate, Pantheon has ultimate. Everything available for LNG to execute around the next dragon if it becomes a fight, or even the second Herald. We're going to get to that stage, but I think right now for LNG, they're showcasing this early game and are still with a sort of big gold lead.
And you can see a good answer, though, at least, coming out from V5. Bit of pressure onto the bot lane turret. They take a blue buff, so at least not completely conceding when the Herald is taken, but certainly a trade that goes in the way of LNG. The question will be, Where does XX want to drop this Herald? Will he continue to focus towards the bot side, or maybe send some help up top for FLICKR?
Maybe give him a bit more gold in his back pocket. Because when you look at it, after my, you know, decisive explanation, there are some serious CS advantages in these lanes. 105 to 85 for CLX. Picks up Lost Chapter in this back as well. So just note also Sork Shoes. So a bit more damage on the Orianna. And the Aatrox has a CS lead up in top lane as well. So with all this attention bot, LNG solo lanes have actually fallen behind. They've moved out of lane to deal with all the actions and shenanigans down towards the bot side. And that's given time for the solo lanes of V5 to catch up into some CS.
And it's important to mention that obviously because FLICKR went for the teleport early game down to the bottom side, yes, he got himself a kill, did lose a little bit of control in the top lane. That 15 CS lead pretty much exclusively down to that teleport play. Now, importantly, Alias still has teleport advantage as of right now. Dragon spawning on the map could be a big swing in favor of V5.
FLICKR got about 40, 30 seconds on his, but LNG have no interest in the Dragon. They're setting up for CLX to rotate down and get caught out by this CC duo.
There's the flash, there's the hook, and that's going to be one dead Orianna. No time to even flash out of that one. Very nicely set up and execute by LNG.
So easy to execute as well. The Pantheon early game who has warriors kills CLX in a flash. And Dwan, just easy CC to obtain. V5 are trying to do the same.
V5 say anything you can do, we can do better. But I don't think they'll get away with this one for now. Sonic Wave won't find the Dragon, and with that on cooldown, and with FLICKR rotating down as well, you have to expect this will just go the way of LNG. Another objective in their pockets, and V5 struggling to find an answer.
But is this going to be the pick-off onto Dwan?
Here we go, onto Dwan. Flash for the Pop Blossom, but he misses. Everyone, it's not what you want to see.
No, it's not. Innovative try, though. I think we'll say that was
valiant effort, yeah.
If only he had the Predator available.
It's on cooldown, I'm afraid.
Damn. I think he did pop it before he went. No, he's actually still got it. And now he just reset.
I think it's timed out. I'm not sure. The boots are no longer on cooldown, so it must have timed out.
No, I believe it did time out. Now we got Aftershock. But LNG looking for either a dive or a pick here. If they can't find someone to go after.
This is the entire strategy, I guess, for LNG, is just death brush. Just death brush every brush. But see if anyone will roam.
You look at what happens. If LNG either make this dive happen, they've got a Rift Herald to push this advantage. They've got Light and Dwan to really capitalize off of this three-man bot.
Against the team of V5, honestly, this kind of death brush strategy seems really strong, because let's bear in mind, one of their biggest weaknesses is in the mid-game, kind of getting lost in these rotations, getting kind of caught out. LNG are playing for that. They are setting V5 up to fail.
Yeah, tempo advantage. First turret going to the bottom lane. Gold shared throughout. So for V5, this lane that was really firing with those early trades is now set back. And the Aphelios lane with a lot more gold means that this back is going to be the Essence Reaver coming away at the 13-minute mark.
I want to revisit the differences here in the lanes, and most specifically towards the top side. Alias now extending the CS lead up to 30 CS. Now, again, FLICKR rotated down to the bottom side of the map. He went and got the Dragon for himself. And this lead needs to amount to something for Alias. He's had no impact in the early game. He's not achieved anything in the bottom side of the map. He's gained one plate for himself. Now we need to see him using that CS lead, using hopefully the XP advantage he should have gained for himself to achieve something and impact these next few fights.
A player who in the past for V5 we've rarely talked about, because Alias was that Nico top. In fact, everyone from this team at one point has played Nico, funnily enough. Apart from AS6, I guess, because we're only seeing him here in his debut split. But for Alias, we always shift our eyes over him because we don't see him as a carry threat. We don't see him as a big player. He is still quite the rookie. And so this is going to be a very big game for him, especially if he can kill Maple.
Maple's in trouble here. Flash, though, gets him out from the Infernal Chains. Now Alias with the World Ender on cooldown. That'll make him lose a lot of his solo pressure that he could have.
That's a big flash. See if AS6 can try and capitalize on it. Alias does hit level 11 in this lane as well. Has the shove with the mid lane under control finally here for V5. So these solo laners of V5 are still really in a good position.
They certainly are. CLX, as you said, getting a bit of a CS lead for himself, and he's getting close to finishing off what I'm going to presume is a Lude.
I keep thinking he's Mole. Like, every time I look at the Orania, I think Mole, and that we haven't done a lane swap. Confusing as all hell. Pantheon ulti, though. Hello.
Friend Star fall into the top lane.
Okay.
Not going to do a whole bunch. CLX just taps him with a ball and waddles away.
As soon as you hear that noise, as soon as you see the Pantheon ulting on Vision, you say, well, we should probably leave.
Yeah, that's definitely the correct play. But light rotating now towards the mid lane. Nobody going to be on the bottom side of the map as the second Herald is available. Next Drake going to be up in a minute as well. And LNG, they want yet another objective for themselves, but this time V5 are at least grouped.
Wow, but XX's damage onto AS6, you can see this Pantheon where he's at in the game. And after some good trading from Flandre, the closer these objectives get, the more that LNG look to control.
CLX is going to walk away. I thought it was going to be...
Could have gone so bad.
Alias, buddy. I don't know. That's a dangerous situation. Now, bear in mind, we have an Orianna here. Shockwave can turn any fight. There is a 1,000 gold lead. Oh, here we go. Juan flashing over the wall. That's going to be a depth charge. But it's only going to be onto one.
But they just
nice
wasted 2 big ults.
4 big ults.
Light
4
Maple.
ults on cooldown right now.
Well, yeah, the Pantheon earlier on, right? And Dwan coming in with the depth charge. V5 now have the advantage to set up for this Dragon to look to contest the Rift Herald. That's being started by LNG.
All right, let's see a strong mid-game fight here from V5. Let's see them build on the mistakes from previous games. 2,000 on the Rift Herald here. So Alias just trying to zone away Duan. We've got to see AS6 getting on in there.
Just giving away.
He's not going to go for it, though. Now for the fight, Duan is the target. Is V5 just not going for anything. Pop Blossom kicked away. In the end, it only hits Flandre. Oh, well. Disappointing fight.
Fate's call, the only reason Mole's alive, and you're right, disappointing, the perfect word to caption it. There was so much opportunity to turn to one objective and start the Rift Herald fight, but they couldn't make a decision. The shot calling there to be criticized, and LNG just walk away with the objective.
So it was actually, yeah, I said he was kicked away, but it was actually the Fate's call moved the Pop Blossom out of the team of LNG.
I think it was a bit of both, actually. Oh no, the kick
There's no, there is, yeah. I was wrong on the kick entirely, but
I guess it saved his life,
but it could have won them the fight.
Could have
That's
been
a
some
big
kind of
ultimate.
impact.
You follow up with the shockwave,
Yep.
like that's the kind of fight we want to see.
And LNG transitioned to the bottom lane because after everything's said and done, V5, it's too dangerous to go on. Gifted soul point. And while we'll question this for the rest of our lives, at least the rest of the split, for V5, a really dangerous position starting to come into fruition.
I'm going to question this for the rest of my life.
Rest
I'm
of your
going to be
life.
sat at a
You're
retirement
gonna be
home.
80 years old and go V5.
The nurse comes in. She's like, "Are you okay, Joe?" And I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know, man. V5. Can you not remember Game 1, Week 3, Day 3, 2020?
But equalizer, start ball.
Nice shockwave onto 2, but I don't know if CLX gets away with this one. Phase Rush runs out. There's a flash from XX. He's happy to make plays for the kills. AS6 looking to answer. Gets the kick onto Maple. Red buff isn't enough, though. Oh, it's a disaster. And now XX will be capitalized. Alias finally using that TP to good effect.
Is he
Can
out?
they stop the
Oh, he's
recall?
not.
Sonic Wave.
Whoa!
Oh, he gets away with it.
Only just. But because it takes so long to kill CLX, there is a trade kill here from V5, and they have 2 members to shove top out. This could be the first turret of the game. So again, I say this all the time when I'm in my apathetics mode, but as long as you're trading the team behind that made the core mistakes before, this is okay.
This is very much worth it for the side of V5. Even if, oh, the flash, the pop
Just out
blossom
of
doesn't
range.
land.
Gravitum though.
Imagine if he'd had Predator though. Mole could have been pulled on in and taken down. I mean, punished, but ultimately that was his own mistake.
And you know what? People are going to be saying it's Omnistone. That's the reason why he's 0 and 2. But honestly, it's just a bit of misexecution here from Mole on the support Nico. Not much more to say about it than that.
Yeah, I'm not convinced by that. Oh, Y4, you cheeky devil.
You take those.
Gets the mega chicken.
The mega chicken.
The mega chicken.
Nicely done.
Alpha chicken.
I told you, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I don't know. Mole, I'm not really convinced by this pick. I don't think that's a controversial statement to make.
But I do like the innovation in draft. And we were talking about this off camera, where for V5, even though it might not be successful, I see you turning your head. For V5, at least they're trying to adapt their draft. At least they're trying to change elements of their gameplay, even if it is simply draft. That matters. It's not a stale team you're looking at in V5. They are changing roles. They're changing picks. And that does mean in the future that we could see development. And that's my optimism.
I mean, for sure, I agree with you in terms of, like, yes, if it's not working, change things up, try and find something new.
Where's the but?
The but is that the new thing was Omnistone Nico support. Like, is that really the thing that you want to try? You've got, you know, Alias could make something happen. We could bring a new pick into the mid lane. I don't know if Nico support, especially into a Nautilus, is really the way forward.
Well, maybe the rune choice. Okay, well, look, a part of the rune choice, but you see how the combo works, right? Kalista with Nico, the ability to all in, and early game, the damage that came through was great. The CC chain that came through was great. And now, look, they're trying to replicate.
Here we go, on to Duan. He's going to have his Aftershock to keep himself alive, although he's not actually going to CC anyone just yet. He's going to be taking a lot of damage, and that's a kick back on into the fight. The Moonlight Vigil, not enough from Light, and that's a nice pick from V5.
It really is. Puts him in a good position around this dragon. Death time is not long enough at this point, but you will say that V5 able to get vision towards that bottom side, able to control the map a bit better. And a couple of key mistakes like we saw in that top lane, now seeing bot, where LNG are getting caught out with their pants down.
And I want to clarify on what I've been saying about this Nico, right? I want to be proven wrong.
You really tunnel in on it.
I just want to, like, I feel like I'm just being, like, rude now to Mole almost. I want to be proven wrong. I want Mole to show me that this is the real deal. Show me that Kalista Nico bot is the next meta. I just need to see it first. That's my final statement. I'll move on.
I will say this. You're not going to see meta-defining gameplay where people across the world say, we have to play this from the current V5. And, like, that's a bit of an insult, but it's also very true. We have to be realistic with the audience in that V5 are not a championship team yet. Maybe in the future they could be. They're 0-4. They're without a game win that we so heavily stated at the start of this series. They are without a singular game win in the LPL. And for a team that still has the majority of their core, minus Max, minus Xiaohan in the jungle, you're not seeing any of the results or any of the training come through.
So far, no good, is what you're saying here for V5. But now the Dragon going to be spawning on the map. Let's see the Nico come into play. He's going to be pulled in by the Death's Grasp. Y4 is pulled into the Death Realm. He's not going to be able to get a face call at this rate. Pop Blossom onto 3, but there's no damage to follow it up. Shockwave there, onto 3 as well. Alias goes in. He's 1 versus 5, though. Stopwatch to keep himself alive. The rest of the team has dipped.
We said Alias needs to step up, and I've got to give him credit. He was close. But LNG, layering of CC, and the ability to take out Mole before he did anything in that fight, wins it through. And now with a Mountain Soul on LNG, everything comes up massive with a big gold lead too.
Yeah, and also Flandre just managing to get Y4 in the Death Realm before the fight. It's just a great feeling as the Mordekaiser. You're like, oh, I found the AD carry. Okay, well, we win this fight. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, Kalista hasn't played the Mordekaiser attacks yet, right? There's no QSS in the inventory, so it's a free pick away for him. And Flandre, with all his roaming, with all the time he's missed in his lane, he's still far ahead. And we'll have a look at this again, because for V5, Death Grasp just walked into by 2 people. You mentioned it before that the Flandre ultimate was key here. Means he doesn't get hit by the Pop Blossom, but I want you to watch Maple. His ultimate makes it so there is no follow-up on a 3-man Shockwave. That zoning, that potential erased by LNG's mid laner.
You can see what V5 are trying to do here. You know, the Pop Blossom onto 3, the Shockwave onto 3, and then Alios goes in. Imagine if they're all at the same time, though. Yep. Imagine if that's all happening at the same time. Imagine if Y4 isn't taken out of the fight before all of that happens. That can be a one-team fight.
That's the design of this comp by V5. The all-in is massive. It's crazy. And the layering of it, though, that's the real problem. V5 have not laid it the way I would love to see, but LNG have with theirs. It's been crucially around the Pantheon, around the Rumble mid joining these fights, that LNG have played so well so far.
And you got to give massive props to Flandre so far this game. He's only 10 CS down. He's impacted multiple fights while Alias has been farming in the top lane, struggling to have an impact on the game. He's used his teleports effectively, and now his scoreboard is reflecting that. And also, you got to look towards the jungler of XX. He has been the driving force for this team.
But I want to take your attention away because LNG at 25 minutes say, you know what, with full control, we should force.
Here we go, equalizer onto the team and AS6.
Okay.
He's just going to be absolutely popped XX once more as he jumps into the back line. Mole is going to be alone here, stunned up, CC'd up. Pop Blossom will only get onto one, and it's Duan. He's happy to tank it. There's another kill as Y4 tries to dance away. Maple going to get the slow as he finishes off CLX. And it was all just a bait.
It's so easy for LNG to take these fights, send in FLICKR, send in XX to the back line, and no one can oppress them. The solo laners of the V5 are trying so damn hard. But at this point in the game, LNG get the fight right in front of the Baron, and there's no one there to stop them anymore.
And this feels like the Christmas party we were talking about. They just go to Baron, they've got this Pantheon pick, and they go, come on, come a little bit closer. Grand Skyfall right behind you. We're going for the fight. We're going to show off. XX has been showing off all game, and it's great to see.
Well, LNG, they've now got the items. They've got the Baron, and we're going to take a quick look. Duan hits the hook as always, but the teleport coming through from V5, they don't have all 5 members at the start of the fight. Alia's zoned away means he can't join. And you saw that ult from Y4. He throws in Mole, and Mole doesn't use the Pop Blossom because he doesn't have the targets to use it on, which means everything's used early and not after another, which we talked about before. Everything needs to be used on top of each other for V5 to win these fights, and it's discoordinated, and LNG take advantage of it.
And ultimately, it feels like an issue of how these fights are being set up. It's LNG that are setting the paces. By the way, they do have the Dragon Soul for themselves, so it just makes it a little bit even harder for this combo to get off. But it's all been LNG's decision on when we're fighting and where we're fighting, and that makes something like a wombo combo incredibly difficult to pull off. You've got to be on the same page, you've got to be coordinated and fighting at the same time. When people are getting caught out and picked off, that can never happen.
Especially when LNG have the experience, and if you look at shot calling, you know, in the past XX, but Mole, really defensive Pop Blossom.
That's a flop Blossom right there.
Oh, very nice. I'll write that one down. I'm sorry, continue, Phil.
Mole, he's got himself a phase rush, so he'll be able to scoot along a little bit quicker during the fights. But with Pop Blossom on cooldown, he's going to be basically a large minion at this stage.
How do you stop any of this from LNG? We've got ultimates available. Mole using the Pop Blossom ensures a free in here, but maybe the game.
There's an equalizer onto the team. Mole forced away as well as FLICKR brings down his mace. There's nothing you can do to stop this Mordekaiser. The rest of the squad happy to take an inhib in the meantime. FLICKR actually getting relatively low. Does get a shield for himself. Alias might find a kill. Takes him into the death realm though. It's a double kill for Light in the meantime. Alias can't find FLICKR, and he's going to go down as well. Oh dear, it's been a disastrous game coming out for V5. We said we wanted to see a bit of something out of him. We saw the Nico support. It didn't look so hot, and LNG, very comfortable win in game number 1.
Well, they tried in the bottom lane.